What it is, what it is. It's your boy LB. Salute to another episode of Coffee and Mary Jane. Mary Jane, hey, Mary Jane. We love you just the same. Mary Jane. Press that, smash that like button. Smash that like button. Come on now. Show your boy some love. Show your boy some love. Where we at with it? Okay. Show your boy some love. Smash that like button. Cost you nothing to smash the like button. DJ, salute. Salute. Would it be? All my blockheads step into the building. Blockheads to the front of the line. Blockheads, 52 blockheads to the front of the line, please. To the front of the line, please. Coffee and Mary Jane, we got our coffee on deck. Coffee must be a part of this thing. If you're viewing me, get that coffee. Get that coffee. That's right. We drink it all summer long. We don't even care about it. We don't even be caring. We drink coffee all, and I don't even get the iced coffee. It'd be 200 degrees under the sun. I'm getting me some hot coffee like a real man. I ain't no beta male. Beta males drink lattes and cold coffees. All jokes. If you like cold coffee, that's what you do. Iced coffee. See, I don't even call it the right thing. I'm calling it cold coffee. It's iced coffee. If you like iced coffee, that's what you do. Ain't nobody mad at you. Just jokes, people. Just jokes. We talking about fundamentals over techniques, man. I had some good conversations with some good martial artists, and it made me want to come here and talk about it. That's how we do around here. So we're going to give some people some time to enter the building because this is kind of early for the kid. I usually do mine around like 5, 6 o'clock, but I'm checking different time zones. That's all. Yo, who's been watching in the updates on the Ukraine war? Frank, would it be? Who been watching them updates? Yo, it's crazy over there, man. Yo, Russia's a bad man. Russia is a real bad. I'm saying Russia. Putin is a real bad man, man. I know there's politics to everything, but it's looking sad. All of those people having to run up out of their crib. But you got real men over there. Men are sending the wives and the children off. Like, get out of here. Go to Poland. I'ma be right here in these streets cracking. That's real man stuff right there. That's real man stuff. So we gotta give them our respect for that. They are cracking for their country. They listen. They said we're gonna take guerrilla warfare, fighting out of houses and bodegas. It don't even matter, but you're gonna get this work. Where we at? We at 5. We're gonna wait to 7 minutes and then we're gonna get cracking. We just try to give people some time to get the notifications. I know YouTube ain't been showing me love like they used to, so I'm not even sure if my notifications go out, but we give it some time. And while we're waiting, we got coffee. I had a who that just broke that down? Hold on one second. That's Frank. Yeah, I heard that. I got a good friend that I train with. He's down with the people, so I ain't gonna throw him out there. But he broke that thing down to me too. He definitely broke that down, and I hear that. I definitely. That's why I said there's politics to it. So I'm just saying, like to have that type of power and have to send young men in to die and yo, listen, politics is crazy, people. It's crazy. Either which way, it just looks bad. But I hear you. I definitely had someone break that down for me, so I already know. I already know about that angle right there. I already know about the neo-Nazis and all that. Heard it. And the thing about doing good deeds is sometimes they're not going to be seen. That's one thing you gotta get used to. If you're going to be Superman, you can't be running around being Superman and then wanting appreciation because you might not get it. You just got to do it because, that's what it calls for. So if that's the case, then, onward and upward. But damn, man, the pictures, I'm telling you, boy, the media, they could spin some stories and it's really happening, but still, it looks bad. War is always ugly, people. War can never be pretty. Even if you're the occupier or you're the one that's coming to freedom. War will never look pretty, no matter how you do it. No matter how high tech it gets. Okay, but we're reaching the 7-minute mark and we're going to break down some fundamentals. Let's go. Let's go. Now, I was talking with one of my martial art brothers, and one of the things that, I would have to say of martial artists today is that it's confusing. It's still this die hard for techniques, this, die by the technique type of attitude, when it is not techniques that make techniques work. No, people. It's not techniques that make techniques work. That's not how it goes around here. Around here in real combat. It's fundamentals that make technique work. So if you're spending hundreds of hours on your technique, you are literally training backwards. You're getting nothing. You're out there blowing time for the sake of it. You might as well go down to the titty bar and go drop some money on the strippers. That's what you might as well do. You might as well take that time that you spending all them hours of technique on, go down to the titty bar and go drop it on the strippers. At least they're going to be able to do something with that money. Do something more productive with that money and the time. Because you're wasting time. You're wasting your time. Your time is your currency. You're wasting it. Fundamentals are the key to making any technique work or come close to working, because we got to understand, people, techniques don't mean 100%. Just because you got a good technique don't mean you getting it off. It don't mean that at all. You still have to find a way to get said technique off against a person who is fighting for his life or fighting to end your life. That's a whole different type of animal. So I know techniques are pretty. I know they are good. But the fundamental of said techniques is what makes all techniques work. So now imagine if you took those 100 hours you spent in trying to do your flip the bird or scrape the ground or tap his kneecap and put it into the fundamentals that can make all of those things close to a reality or give it a high probability of getting off, you would reap more rewards. And what are the fundamentals, though? Fundamentals are balance, power, coordination, which you can easily align with agility. Coordination aligns with agility. Now, because when you say agility, people start thinking about monkey kung fu, and you got to do backflips and semi-tucks and double hyper spin. Nah, you ain't got to do none of that in the battle. But your agility aligns with your fight coordination. What is the coordination? Meaning your body is yours. It's yours. Do you know how many times I train people and I like throw the left hand and they throw the right hand? I said throw the right hand, they throw a left kick. And it's not that they're stupid. It's not that at all. It's just their body doesn't belong to them. They are using said body, but it's not theirs. See, we are occupying this temple, but for a lot of us, this temple is not ours. Or at least we damn sure treat it like it's not ours. And coordination allows you to grab back the reins of your body. Grab them back. Grab the reins back. Take control of the car, people. You're steering the car into the ditch and you're watching the steering wheel just spin around. Nah, you got to slap your hands on the steering wheel and pull up out of there. That coordination. That's controlling your body. These things right here are way more important than any technique you can think of. The killer heart technique, the 5 press point, make his heart blow up technique, the bird's pecking eye, take his eyeball out. None of those techniques come close to the coordination and the fundamentals you get. Like even punching. Punching is something good. I love it. But our hands had to evolve for punching. Meaning we weren't supposed to be slugging each other in the face. But since we started slugging each other, evolution took over, and our hands have been continuously evolving to whoop another man's ass. Yep. Our hands have been continuously evolving to do that. But they weren't meant for that. That's why you only have 2 punch knuckles. You can mess up your whole hand trying to punch somebody in the face. It can happen. But what's the fundamental of boxing? Transferring your weight. To throw a good right hand, you got to transfer all of your weight forward. To throw a good left hook, you got to transfer all of your weight to your back leg, your root leg, and catch yourself. That's the fundamental. That takes what? Balance. That's why you see street fights, they falling all over the place. They swinging and swinging, falling all over the place. You want to know why they doing that? Because they have no darn balance. They have no balance. It's like they're fighting on ice. Most of these fights look like they should be happening in the ice capades. Yeah, I said it, and I ain't taking it back. Most of y'all look like y'all fighting. It looks like a show from ice capades. Got no balance. You're skating around the concrete looking crazy. You got to know how to hold ground. That takes balance. On my way to a moving job, not driving, I'm on deck listening. Salute. That's what I'm saying. That takes balance. Fundamentals are the key. Spend hours and hours on your fundamentals. Spend hours working on your coordination. Spend hours working on your balance. Spend hours working on power. Why is power so essential to fighting? Because strength is tension. To use strength, you're using dynamic tension, and I'm taking nothing away from the brothers who use dynamic tension to get muscles. I hear you, but it makes you stiff. Certain arts, when you see that, all that craziness, that's called dynamic tension. That's not going to help you in the fight. All of the energy you just wasted flexing your muscles, you done threw away, and now you tired, and now he jumping on you, dragging you. He dragging you through the streets like a chimpanzee. He just got you by, he just bonging you, picking you up, slamming you, dropping you, and you can't do nothing because you're tired. Relaxation is a function of power. Say it in your head, people, when you're training. Relaxation is a function of power. Meaning, to get to the power line, you must relax. So there is no tense fighting. There's no, and I know it's a mental mind F. It's a mental mind F to say, hey, Uncle Light Burley, we in the fight. We supposed to be hard. No. Because power is made up of the hard and the soft. See, power sits between hard and soft. And that's why it's a journey to find power. Need that motion. Salute. It's like animals use power, not dynamic tension. The tiger that's bringing down the water buffalo is using power. Agreed, coach. Every time I shoot for a double leg, I'm sprawling. That's right, sprawling. You have to be. You have to, because if it all goes wrong and he falls on you and you're tense, you're going to break. See, what's too tense, what's too strong, breaks. What's too weak, bows. So what's in the middle of those two? Power. Power rests in the what's too strong and what's too weak. In between those rests the power line, and you have to find it. That's the mystery. How to find your power line. Because finding your power line is also going to take the ability for you to relax under pressure. Hemingway's Grace Under Fire, Grace Under Pressure is to relax. If your house is on fire, you don't run around, the house is on fire, the house is on, you're going to burn. You're going to burn. If your house is on fire, you got to sit down, relax, calm down, and start looking for a way to get up out of there. Because you got a supercomputer up here. And it can figure some ish out, especially when survival is at stake, when your life is at stake. Oh, this supercomputer goes into hyperdrive, baby. But to access it, you're going to have to relax. And that's what a lot of us don't do. We don't relax. So situations that could have been easily handled snowball into now y'all shooting at each other. Somebody's life has been lost. See, the fundamentals will never change, people. There's going to be techniques for days. Listen, 10 years from now, there's going to be some new techniques. There are a dime a dozen techniques coming out every day. There's a new technique coming out. But the fundamentals will never, ever change, people. They won't change. You're never going to not need balance. Because these fundamentals, this is why the warrior's path is the quickest way to enlightenment. I'm going to break it down right here, right now. It's going down. Are you listening? Are you listening? This is why the fundamentals and the warrior path is the quickest way to enlightenment, because all of these fundamentals are required in living your daily life. Yup, I said it and I ain't taking it back. I said it. All of these fundamentals are required in your daily life, even dealing with your wife, your children, your job, your friends. You're going to need power, balance, and coordination. Lord J. Mo, peace to the God. These things ain't just for fighting. Even in making money, you're going to need power, balance, and coordination. This is why the fundamentals are so important. Think the professor, fifth power, 5 equal power refinement, 2 equal wisdom and fundamentals. Oh, think the professor, rich gang on deck. He out here breaking down the numbers. Let's talk about what he say? What did he say? He said 5 equal power / refinement, 2 equal wisdom fundamentals. You see what I got on my chest? You see it. You see the big 5 too. See, and we've already talked about, and we're going to talk the magic in numbers. There's a magic that comes with the numbers. That's another thing a martial artist must understand, is the magic of numbers. And what do I mean by that? Burley, what you talking about, the magic of numbers? Listen, I had a martial artist come to me one day. I'm in the park doing my Burley thing, doing what Burleys do. DJ 2021, salute, appreciate you. Doing what the Burley do. Had another martial artist walk up in there on me. And he said, we started talking about martial arts, and he told Mr. Burley in my eyes, he looked me right in my eye. He looked me in both of my eyes, people, both of them. Told me he was doing, I forgot the art, I think it was hung guard for 15 years. Hung guard for 15 years. He was on this hung guard, his iron thread, hung-garring it up, garring it and hunging it for 15 years. And I'm like, what, 15 years? Now, you know your Uncle Burley, I done put a lot of time into this ish. A lot of time into my training. Talking about every day, 6 hours a day. No lie, no cap, even though I got this nice cap on. No cap. People can verify how many hours I put in for over a decade. So this is the numbers I'm thinking. So I'm like, damn, 15 years on guard? How many times you train, how many times you get it in the week? He said, oh man, maybe twice, but back in 99, I had a hip replacement, so I had to stop for 2 years. And then pretty much when we added it all up, he wasn't doing hung guard for no 15 years. Out of the whole 15 years, he may have got a year and a half of true hunger because he had the hip replacement. He stopped training. His wife left him. Yada yada yada. No disrespect to him, because that's just life happening. Life happens, people. But numbers matter. Because you are walking around claiming to have done it for 15 years, and I'm pretty sure your coordination isn't going to match that because you haven't been doing it for 15 years. The real question, let's see, the real question is, how many times have you really fought? That's what people really want to know. Now, that's a good thing, because that does give you experience. But see, now, this is where techniques can have their way. Because you could be a street fighter, right, that got 100 fights. And out of those 100 fights, you know 180 of them. Then you walk into the gym and get beat up. What happened? So the quality of the fights matter too. So even when people say they've had 100 fights, good morning, my brother, salute. Now we got to talk about the quality of said fights. So that matters. So 100 street fights may give you a sharpened awareness for fighting, but the quality of them probably suck. Now, you see people who actually train to fight and they're professionals and they have that many fights. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different story, because now the quality of their fights really brings in a certain type of wisdom that you can only get from fighting other animals. You know, you ain't going to get the same information fighting the lamb that you're going to get from fighting the tiger. I'm going to tell you. Two different informations. And you can be the king of the lamb slayers. Everywhere you go, the lambs are laid out, not just sleeping. But you ain't knock off no lions. You ain't go at none of the wolves. So how good of a fighter are you? So when you start talking fights, we're going to have to start talking about the quality of your fights. I had a lot of street fights. I don't bring them up because they sucked. I sucked back then. The dudes I was fighting sucked, even if I pulled off a victory. I mean, but this experience it shows that one thing that you can get from the man that has a lot of fights is he has the heart to enter battle, and that's required. How do you get quality rounds as an amateur? Just get those numbers in. Yeah, you got to hit tournament. You got to travel. You got to travel. You got to be about that smoke, because there are quality fighters, but some of them you may have to go to get that work. Some of them probably ain't going to carry themselves to you, especially as an amateur. As an amateur, you're going to spend some money, like anything else. Like if you're trying to be a rapper, you know, you're going to have to buy, you know, get beats, buy video, you know, the whole thing, book studio time. So it kind of, when I was on the amateur circuit, I seen it, it's kind of the same thing. You got to kind of have this money to get around, to go to certain gyms where you hear about a new fighter that's in there popping. You hear about a new fighter in a different town popping, go to that town and spar them. You're going to get that work. You're going to get that work. Because they out there. It's not like high-level fighters ain't out there. They are out there. But, you know, getting to them may be the problem. Even professional fighters have a hard time getting quality work. That's why they go at the youngest, but they still get their work. It's easier for them, but it still presents a problem. Especially in the social media game, where now in sparring you can they can see you getting beat up. You know what I'm saying? Back before there was cameras in sparring, what happened in sparring stayed in sparring. That's not happening no more. Somebody got the camera phone up in there, they're gonna get it, they're gonna put it out, and you're gonna be seen getting beat up. And now, so you got a lot of ego in the game now. So it's definitely harder to get quality work nowadays with, you know, people don't want to be on TMZ getting dusted off. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. So, you know, you definitely have to search for real work. But you got to get it in. You got to get it in. I've traveled. I've traveled for some sparring. Yes. Quality. Traveled. Crimson Skull. Oh, the vid about the elbows. That's right. That's right. You got to step offline, people. Too many of us are fighting like we don't care about ourselves. Everyone want to be undefeated, yup. But that is such a lie. The undefeated thing is such a lie, because because in every place of your life, there's going to be wins and losses in all areas of your life. So how could you call yourself undefeated? We got to look at, if you're specific to one thing, okay, that's specific to one thing. And even then, gotta love the elbows, facts. And even then, there could be some politics to how you pull that off. There's nothing is undefeated. The only thing that is undefeated is nature. Nature and the internet. Nature and the internet is undefeated. You can't beat them. You can't. If you try, there will be high prices to pay. But we are all defeated, because defeat is the process of victory. There's no victory without defeat. Like, if we removed away defeat, what the hell would victory mean? We would all walk around 25-0. How? Nobody's losing. Nobody has to go and reflect and think about what they can do better, because that's what the loss is. That's what defeat is. Defeat is the lesson. So that's why someone who then fought high-level fighters and lost to every high-level fighter. Like, every time he went against a high-level fighter, he lost. But I bet that man got mad information. Wow, you gonna say, how, Uncle Burley, how you got all this information and he lost? Like I said, it's quality. So if you losing the quality people, that's a different thing. Example, Canelo Mayweather. That is a quality loss. I'd pay money for that loss to get that lesson from Mayweather, because what you gonna walk away with is light years ahead. Light years ahead. See, the problem with winning is after you win, you go to the after party. See, after you lose, you go home and reflect. Think about that. Think about that. The winner goes to the after party. The loser goes home to reflect. So who's gotten more out that situation? Now, he may get more paper, but the problem with winning is it becomes addictive, and it starts to become you start to take it for granted. You start to think you're owed to win. You're never owed to win. You fight for the win, baby. I think it was one general that said, after victory, you need to tighten your boots even more. Your boots of war. You got to tighten them laces even more. You can't loosen them just because you took a so-called victory. See, victories and losses are hard to really see because time plays into it. Like Burley versus Money May. Hell yeah, get it out there. Give me one round with Money May. Now, I know I'm going to take some shots, but all I need to do is get one. Press one. All I need to do is land one, and I'm a superstar. And I'm going to land something. You bet that. Yeah, after you win, they're coming for you. Exactly. That's what that saying means. David Pollock in the building. That's what that saying means. After victory, you have to tighten your boots even more. Coach, why can't boxers use hammer fists and backhands in the ring? Hammer fisting, it's the crudeness of it. It's the crudeness of it. And then the areas that you can hit, like the top of the head, the back of the head. Now, backhanding is something I would have to look into. Well, I think backhanding may just be looked at as a cheat move, a slapping move. That's where the sport of boxing plays into, because there's things in every sport that they just frown upon, even though it could be a correct technique. There's nothing wrong with hammer fisting. Listen, in the right situation, the hammer fist can do some work, because there ain't no, you ain't got to worry about breaking too many bones right here. You ain't going, you know what I'm saying? You can really, put some pressure into it. The problems with things like the hammer fist is they're all mechanical. Unless you get some room, it's hard to really get a leverage swing with a hammer fist. It becomes like a strength thing. And as technique, but there's nothing wrong with a hammer fist. Oh yeah, there's all types of, see, in boxing has, like, I can punch you in your groin at least 2 times before they take a point out. Before they take a point, I can punch you in your groin 2 times, make it look accidental, like I'm going for the body, right in the groin. They're gonna say, hey, they're gonna warn me twice. They're gonna warn me. On that third one, I may lose a point. But I had already got 2 good shots off to your groin. You're an injured animal. Now I just go back to playing the game. See, but that's just knowing the game. That's a whole different thing. It's a safety issue. Think that the professors up in here is to do with where the padding is on the glove. It's a safety issue. They use the hammer fist and backhand forearms off missed hooks, very dangerous. Off mixed hooks are very dangerous. Very true. It's a safety issue, which makes sense. Just like, rabbit punching behind the head, So these are things that sports go through. But if you look at boxing from the beginning, boxing had a lot of stuff. Boxing, but don't just think boxing came in clean, baby. No, boxing had to be shaken down to what we see in today. There was there was holding and hitting, elbowing, headbutting, kneeing. Boxing back in the day was pretty much almost MMA without the wrestling. But it was freestyle. Back in those days, during the standing 8, if you lifted up one knee, he can go back to slugging you in your face. Spinning back fist, yes. He could slug you in your face. Like if you got knocked down and you went to one knee, he can commence to punching you in your face again. Yep. Boxing had to slow down from that, like go to a neutral corner. You know what I'm saying? When you see things go left enough, you know how to put in certain rules that help, to make the fight go on and make it more enjoyable for the spectators. Because all of this had to come down for the spectators. You know what I'm saying? Attention span. You can't have 4-hour fights. Ain't nobody got time to be giving a fight 4 hours out their day. They had to shake it down. You know what I'm saying? Make these 3 minutes. We make each fight about 36 minutes. You got 12 rounds times 3 minutes. That's 36 minutes. Plus 12 minutes for the minute that they sitting down. What's that? 36. 48 minutes pretty much is a fight. So they know that attention span, they doing that with attention span. And then they got music playing, intermission, peanuts and popcorn and all of that other good stuff going on to keep you satisfied so you don't just get tired of watching the fight. So boxing has shooken down from all of that. But it was there. It was barbaric. It was very barbaric. It was outlawed. Boxing used to be outlawed, people. It was too barbaric. And then they introduced defense. Defense. Another fundamental of fighting that I forgot. Another fundamental. I don't believe I forgot this one. Self-preservation. That is a fundamental. Why is self-preservation a fundamental, Uncle Like Burley? Because you will put yourselves in positions that you know ain't good for you and ain't good for your life, but we still do it. We still do it. Now, of course, this doesn't mean you have to be extra extreme. You can be. You know, if that's how you take your self-preservation, you can be, but learning to work on that. It's not something that just happens. That's what I'm trying to say, is that self-preservation just ain't going to fix itself. We got to constantly work on this thing, because it's the ability to take things for granted, even ourselves, is why we can throw self-preservation out the window. In a fight, that can really go against you, because you're fighting with no defense. You're fighting for the sake of just trying to kill the other man. And that may work for you for a couple of fights until you meet the right man and he sits you down. And you may never get back up. So self-preservation is another fundamental too in life and in fighting, because self-preservation is going to cover defense. What is your defense? Football got two teams: defensive squad and the offensive squad. That's how your life should be when you approach a situation. Do you send in the defense or do you send in the offense? And if you're not good at making that decision, you'll run into a lot of ruin. So fundamentals are what's required in fighting and in life. So toss away all of the fancy techniques and work on the fundamentals. Holdings LLC, thank you. Salute, warrior. The techniques are good. I'm not saying don't train your techniques. I'm not saying that. I'm saying put more time into your fundamentals over your techniques, and not only will you grow more as a martial artist, your techniques, there will be no technique that you can't use. Because of my balance, ain't no technique I can't pick up. Just give me some time. Kicking, punching, anything that requires balance, I'll be able to get it, because I already studied the fundamental of balance. Thus, opening every technique to me that needs the use of balance. Fundamentals win, people, because fundamentals are you. Techniques are not you. The triangle trade is not you. The fundamental is you, though. And that's who wins in fights. Not techniques. You. You win the fight. I don't care what technique you was so-called representing or what banner you was waving: boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Greco-Roman wrestling, BJJ. I don't care what banner you use. When the fight is over and you're declared victorious, the technique didn't win. You won. As always, hands up, chin down, rumble, young man.